legend of the Jersey Devil actually dates back to the 1730s, which is about 40 years before America was actually considered an official country. Now, most of the stories about the Jersey Devil are tied to a family known as the Leeds family. Daniel and Deborah Leeds, they were both immigrants to the US from England, and they were both devout Quakers. And they had actually fled England because there was some pretty serious persecution going on of the Quakers by the Protestant masses in England at that time. So they came here across the ocean to try to practice their religion in freedom. Both good kids, they come to America, they fall in love, they get married, and they have kids. Not only do they have kids, they have 12 kids. 12! That is too many kids. Even back in that day, that was considered a lot. Now, over the course of having 12 kids, Daniel Leeds starts publishing an almanac. Almanacs are basically a guide for farmers, agriculture, when to plant crops, weather forecasts, things like that. His almanac was actually one of the first recorded printings in the US, which is kind of neat. But he started using some astrology, some kind of paganish stuff that the church did not look too fondly on, and they kind of called him out on it. And instead of apologizing, he doubled down and just kind of said, no, this is what I'm into, started getting further and further into it, some darker stuff, and the church eventually said, that's it, you're out, kicked him out of the community, which I imagine they were helping with these 12 kids, this community that they had. They said, you're banished, you're out, and they were fully ostracized from their community, which kind of sent Daniel Leeds down a darker path. He starts drinking heavily, disappearing for days, ignoring his family, and really dives headfirst into this paganism, witchcraft, and occult studies. And his almanac just kind of goes off the rails from there. And this left Mother Leeds to care for these 12 kids by herself, with no help from her husband, obviously, but no help from the community, which he ostracized them from. Then one day, surprise, Mother Leeds is pregnant with her 13th kid. Now, what happens next is kind of the crux of the story. So I sat down with Professor Gillespie, who is a professor of folklore at Rutgers University here in New Jersey. Let's check out what he has to say.
She was really at the point of exhaustion. And then when she learned one night that she was pregnant with her 13th child, in a moment of perhaps understandable weakness, she said, Lord, let this one not be a child. Let this one be a devil. Well, we now know that that was a mistake, because in that terrible winter night in February of 1735, when Mother Leeds' 13th child was born, it started out as a perfectly healthy, normal little baby boy with blonde hair and blue eyes, but then something went terribly wrong. In the space of less than 20 minutes, the baby grew to the size of 2 full-grown men. And in place of the baby blue eyes, there were eyes all right, but they were glowing red like 2 burning coals, and they were set in the horrible head of a horse. So he had this creature, and then unexpectedly, with one swipe of his right arm, he slit the throat of the midwife in attendance, who collapsed in a pool of blood. The creature gave out a blood-curdling scream and escaped into the Pine Barrens, where he's terrified the people of South Jersey for the last 250 years.
That, my friends, is the legend of the Jersey Devil, and that is who we are hunting, and that's the purpose of this channel. So I hope you'll join me, hope you'll help me find this thing. By the end of the movie, we're gonna find him, and we're gonna get him on tape, and I'm gonna be a millionaire. Anyway, like and subscribe for weekly updates to this channel, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.